Welcome to the Ride and Inspire broadcast, your mix of mountain bike skills, mindset tools, and neuroscience for a more confident ride, not only on your bike, but also through life. Today, we are talking about pedals. This is a topic that keeps coming up. So today, I want to talk about which pedals will make you a better mountain biker. Flats or clip-in pedals. Before I start, I want to say this is not this pedal is the best pedal and you never ride another pedal in your life. I actually ride both myself. So today I want to talk about the neuroscience and motor learning science and why riding one pedal over the other a certain time in the year will make you a better rider. Because in the short run, clip-in pedals will definitely make you a better rider, but in the long run, flat pedals will. And perhaps the ultimate truth is using both pedals that will actually make you the most well-rounded rider in the long run. So, as you may have already guessed, this episode is not about telling you that one pedal type is the best of the best and you should ride one to be a quote-unquote real rider. Because if you've been here for a while, you'll know that I don't like that type of, let's say, elitism where you say you have to do this to be a real rider. I stand for helping you find the type of rider you want to be and getting the best out of whatever type of riding you want to do. If you want long-term progress and safety, I recommend to ride and train with flat pedals at least 4 to 5 months a year. And I know for many of you, flats may feel like going backwards because maybe clips feel secure. If you've been riding clips for a long time, they feel safer. Because yes, you can't lose the contact to your pedals. You can just pull up on jumps and you'll definitely stay connected through chunky trails because you're fixed to the pedals. And yes, they feel more efficient. And yes, for some people, they feel kind of advanced. And many riders will still say they are the real deal. And if you are riding for performance purely, yes, then definitely they will probably be more efficient and probably also shave off some seconds when you're racing. But here is the truth, and maybe it's the uncomfortable truth for some of you. What feels more advanced is often actually slowing down your learning if you are relying on that connection versus actually making the best of it based on skills. So today we are going to look at how you can make the best of riding clipped in, but also focus on learning and improving. And that is that constant thing I really encourage you to do is how can you keep improving if that's what you like? Unless, of course, you're like, no, I don't want to keep improving, then maybe my podcast is not for you. So first off, I am not anti-clipped in. I already said that. I actually ride both myself. I ride clipped in on my cross-country bike. I ride flats on my other bike. So on my enduro bike, on my dirt bike, and on my old mountain bike and on my e-bikes. But once a year, I will actually mount flat pedals even on my cross-country bikes to refine my skills. And today I want to explain why I do this, why it works, and not based on my opinion, but actually based on how your brain actually learns movement. So here's the reason number one why I recommend to ride flat pedals a few months a year. It's because they will improve your riding because they are training your coordination. Your coordination is your foundation for skills, your foundation for speed, and for smoothness overall. Because when riders think about improving on a bike, they usually think, okay, I need better technique. Technique isn't actually where learning starts, though. Learning movement starts with coordination. Coordination, simply put, is your brain's ability to detect what's happening, to process that information, and then to send the right response back to your body. So in simple terms, you're feeling, you're processing, and you're reacting. And that loop is everything. And if that loop is slow, or if it's unclear, or if it's incomplete, then the output is also incomplete, or maybe flawed. Simply, Because in this case, with the clipless pedals or clip-in pedals, you're connected to your bike mechanically. And if you are connected to the bike mechanically, there simply is limited input, i.e., you cannot feel when the bike would, for example, drop away from you if you weren't clipped in. And therefore, if you cannot feel it, you can't process it and then can't react. And exactly this loop is what you need to develop coordination. And coordination is what makes every move on and off your bike more efficient. You can think of coordination as your fertile soil to plant plants, and your plants are your skills. Of course, you can plant plants on a dry soil, but it'll take much more work later on to grow those plants than if you invested in a fertile soil in the first place. Reason number 2 why flat pedals make learning faster is that there is more sensory input through your feet. Your feet are one of your most important sensory systems generally of your body, but also on the bike. Your feet have dozens of tiny muscles and bones that tell your vestibular system and your nervous system a lot every single second. Where your body is, whether you're safe, whether you're accelerating, whether you're stable or unstable. They detect pressure, balance, timing, and the direction of force. But here's the issue. Clip-in shoes are stiff. They are very stiff. And stiffness reduces that sensory input. And if you have less feeling in your feet, you have less information that travels to your brain, and that creates a chain reaction. You have less input, you have less accurate processing, which usually results in more insecurity, so more question marks in your brain, and then that results in slower or maybe even wrong reactions, and that means slower learning. It's kind of like trying to learn to type with really thick gloves on. You can probably still do it, but it'll be clumsy, it'll be delayed, and definitely less precise. So here's reason number 3, and that is that it's harder to detect mistakes. And that is actually a part many riders completely misunderstand. Learning is not about avoiding mistakes. It's about detecting them and knowing why you did them and how to correct them. Your brain, especially a part called the cerebellum, learns by comparing what did I expect to happen and what actually happened. And that difference is the learning signal, because then you adjust and then you improve. So if you don't have errors, there's no update. And now think about clip-in pedals and clip-in shoes. They actually hide mistakes. You can pull up when you really shouldn't, like when you're jumping. You can get away with bad timing. You can stay attached even when your balance is off. So the mistake never becomes as obvious. And if the mistake is hidden, your brain cannot fix it. The next reason why flats help you learn faster is that riding clipped in can tense you up. And this often happens subconsciously. When you're learning new movements, your system is already under a certain amount of pressure, because movements will feel awkward. You will be uncoordinated at first. You will be unstable. That is normal. That is how learning works. You need to go out of your comfort zone to learn. But when you're clipped in, even a small mistake can turn into a sudden fall, a stuck foot, and just that delay in clipping out and putting the foot down gives your brain another, let's say, pressure signal. Your brain notices that extra layer of insecurity, and it will protect you by shutting down the learning system. Because when the brain senses threat, it does something super important. It shifts from the learning mode to survival mode. This you will feel as more tension, and you'll be in that autopilot mode instead of learning mode. So you actually shut down the exact system you need for progress. And thus, you reinforce existing habits versus building new ones. And flats change exactly that, because they give you something super powerful, a safe and fast exit strategy. So you can put a foot off easily, and you can catch yourself, you can reset. And knowing that makes your brain feel safer, and a safer brain learns faster. So overall, yes, on flats, you cannot mask errors. On flats, you don't really have the option to just pull and fake it like a bunny hop or something. So you have to control the pressure, your body positioning. You have to manage through micro movements to stay connected to your pedals and time your movements properly, because if you don't, yes, the pedal will tell you immediately. So you will lose contact to your pedals. So yes, you cannot mask, you cannot use a shortcut. And that's exactly what you want in training, because you need that clear feedback for faster adaptation. But as I said before, if you're looking for a quick fix in the short run, of course, yes, you can put on clipped-in pedals if it makes, let's say, jumping fun right now or bunny hops more fun. Go for it in the short run, but just know that the habits you're forming may limit you in the long run. So now, the question I always get is, okay, but I ride clipped in, so why should I practice riding flats if I want to ride clip-ins in the long run anyway? Well, the short answer is because the skills you learn on flats make you a better rider riding clipped in later. You build the coordination, you build the timing, you build the finesse, you build the pressure control, you build clean movement patterns that won't limit you in the long run, and then you can just add the extra connection again. So you can transfer everything you learned on flats on clipped in pedals, but it doesn't work the other way around. You cannot transfer what you learned on riding clipped in with usually masked errors to flats, but you can transfer everything you learn on flats to riding clipped in. So that makes it pretty clear what is the basis of clean riding, right? So the bottom line is flat pedals are not a downgrade. They are a training tool, and probably is one of the most powerful training tools you have. If you're looking for better coordination, faster learning, more control, less fear, then yes, spend time on flats, but slow down first. You need to regress to progress. Build or refine your foundation. You will feel it in the long run. Because once your brain and your body truly understand, truly feel, and truly coordinate movements, then yes, you can ride on any pedal. If you want to experience this yourself, then start with my free on-bike balance course. I have linked it below. And if you're ready to work with me personally with personal video feedback, then you can find my remote courses below. I'm currently working with riders from all over the world: Singapore, Japan, the United States, Canada, Spain, Germany, Turkey, Greece, and so many more. Maybe I did list your country, maybe I didn't, but maybe you want to join. So let's add you to that list too and make this your best riding season yet. Thank you for sticking with me until the end.